This is going to be a fun one. How about Baylor taking on Ole Miss? Lane Kiffin, Dave Aranda going at it. 50.5 as an opening total. -2.5. Ole Miss opens up as a small favorite, and I believe remains a small favorite here. Dave Koken, who do you like in this matchup?
I don't really know how healthy the Baylor quarterback is. He's going to play, but he was dinged up. Ole Miss is coming to play. Okay, the fact that quarterback stuck around for this game, and he has sold me that they're very excited about this game. The problem is, I don't know if they're any better than Baylor. I think Aranda's done as good a coaching job as anybody in college football this year. I thought Baylor was going to be pretty good, but I don't know anybody who thought they were going to be this good, including myself. And I don't want to go against them. So this is a short and sweet for me. Pass. Don't have a strong opinion. I'm not going to waste time talking about a game where I have no view.
Okay. Teddy, it's interesting. Aranda was the DC at Ole Miss, so he's got a little bit of knowledge here about the SEC and maybe Ole Miss and the offense here with Lane Kiffin. It's an interesting battle of head coaches as well. Who do you give the advantage to?
I'm in no rush to step in front of a Rebels team that, as Dave said, is properly motivated for this bowl game. And given the issues with Baylor at the QB position, the question marks surrounding whether he's staying or going for the Bears. When you look at these two conferences over the course of the season, it wasn't a great year for the SEC, but the SEC West was brutal. This was not a great year for the Big 12 by any stretch of the imagination. Baylor played the easiest or one of the easiest non-conference schedules out there. Many of their wins were right team at the right time. They've been overachievers all year. And a lot of times you hesitate to step in front of the overachievers that have overachieved this much like Baylor has. But I think there was at least something of a class difference here. I could only lay the very reasonable price with the Ole Miss Rebels and Matt Corral in this one.
Yeah, it's nice to see, Adam. We usually talking about opt-outs. Corral's opting in, which is nice to see here. So Ole Miss has their gunslinger. Who do you like in this matchup?
All right, so I've got a strong opinion here. This is a 4% play for me. I said I'd give it out on the show, and I'm on the Baylor Bears. Actually, let me just backtrack quick. I love both these teams this year. My one win total that I gave out on like every WagerTalk show was Ole Miss over 7.5 wins. That got there, and I've been kind of backing Baylor all year because I have a good friend of mine that's a Baylor alum. He had me on Baylor over 5.5 wins, and we kept just kind of pressing with Baylor. But so first of all, on our Wednesday night show, Kelly Stewart said that she's got a source that said Ole Miss might have a little COVID that's not being reported yet. I don't know, how accurate that is or whatnot, but she tends to be pretty sharp, and she said she liked Baylor on our show. I definitely am interested if that's the case. But the thing with Baylor is, they have every single player available for this game because there's not a single Baylor player that's NFL ready where they would sit out. And from my friend that is close to the program, he said that they're, insanely excited about this game. This is a massive game for them. Now, Matt Corral is staying. That's huge for Ole Miss, and I'm certain that Ole Miss is going to take the game seriously. But this Baylor team, they have overachieved. But Dave Aranda's done a tremendous job. Their defense is incredible, and they look like the more disciplined team too. Ole Miss they commit a lot of penalties, and I think if Baylor's defense can figure out how to slow down the Ole Miss offense, which with all this time to prepare, I think they will. Bohannon is going to play. I think he'll be fine. That's just my gut feeling is that he'll be fine. I think Baylor, might be the slightly more motivated team potentially. They turned over Oklahoma State 4 times in the Big 12 title game. This Baylor team's really good. And if that, does play out where Ole Miss is missing a few guys, I think that's even bigger advantage Baylor because as far as I know, Baylor is going to have their full complement of players. So I'm taking a shot with Baylor here, plus 1.5. I like them in this game, and that's one of my 4% plays.
All right, good stuff. Baylor Bears, it is, guys.